Say that again.
Okay, this is someone that experienced this week a danger to her child of a predator, and I want to bring Sasha up now. Let's hear it for Sasha.
Sasha,
Hey, Sasha.
you have the floor, so go at it.
Okay, so I'm totally unprepared. You guys totally put me on the spot, but that's okay. So it's funny because when you're saying this, for me, it's not an abnormal thing. I've experienced these things as a woman almost my whole life. I've been exposed to so many predators throughout my life, and especially I've lived in Barrie for about 10 years now. Is that better?
Yeah, right up.
Right
Yeah,
up?
that's
Okay,
perfect.
is that better?
Perfect.
Okay, so I've lived in Barrie for about 10 years now, and this is not my first experience with confronting somebody like this. So for me, like, I am a very outspoken person. I have no problem standing up for myself, but if it was somebody else, that the situation that I'm about to tell you could have ended in a completely different way, which is terrifying, and it happens all the time. So what happened was I had my daughter down here. She's 4. We like to come walk down here at night and just kind of go for a little moonlight walk down by the water. We love the water. So we're walking just over by the spirit catcher. We don't really drift too far at night for this reason. And I noticed a man sitting on a bench just over by the spirit catcher. And there's people everywhere, so I'm like not worried, obviously. And I also had my mother-in-law with me. So anyways, we're walking, and as we start to walk down the boardwalk, I noticed this gentleman get up and kind of like trailing behind us, but I didn't think anything of it. And this guy's like probably 6'8", like he was probably one of the tallest people I've ever seen, big. And he was wearing a mask. It was late at night, he was by himself, so I found that to be pretty odd. So I was kind of getting weird vibes from him. So anyways, we continue walking, and he's kind of trailing behind us, and he's saying inappropriate things and mumbling under his breath, and just, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let this guy walk by. And well, so we stood to the side, and I kind of gestured for him to go ahead, and he just stood there and looked at me, and he's like, no. And I was like, keep walking, go ahead. And he's like, no. I'm like, all right. So I turned around and walked the other way. He turns around and walks the other way and starts following us. So I turn around and I stand there. Of course, if I didn't have my daughter, I probably would have kicked him in a very vulnerable area and pushed him into the dock, because that's all it would have taken, but I'm not going to do that in front of my 4-year-old daughter. So I turn around and I'm like, is there a reason that you're following us? I figured I'm just going to call him right out, because let's just call it what it is. I'm like, is there a reason why you're following us? And he's looking at me like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I'm trying to go for a nice walk with my daughter. Can you continue walking, please? And he literally just looks and says no. So at that point, my mother-in-law, who's like a small, older, like not frail, but she'll speak her mind, woman, steps up and she's like, look, buddy, you need to turn the f*** around. Told him right off. Luckily, he kept going. But if we hadn't been the type of women to stand up for ourselves and tell him what's up, that would have ended completely differently. And I know that because it happens all the time. I've seen it so many times. I actually work with women who have been victims of situations like this that have gone a lot worse. So human trafficking is one of them, or just domestic violence, sexual assault, different types of trauma throughout their lives. So this is a very, very common thing, and what we don't know is that 1 in 4 women experience something like this. Every second in Canada, a woman is sexually assaulted, and that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to human trafficking. A lot of times, women, people, children are trafficked, and they don't even know they're being trafficked.
Really?
I was actually just reading an article the other day.
Teach us.
Sure, yeah. So I was reading an article the other day about this woman that just came forward with her story, and I actually know multiple women who have very similar stories to this. So she was exposed to a gentleman who charmed her and, knew she was vulnerable, and she had a previous background of traumatic incidents that made her vulnerable to these types of situations. And predators know how to prey on that. They know how to manipulate, and all it takes is for somebody to charm a girl like that to make them feel like, oh, this is my boyfriend, this guy cares about me. Right. And sometimes it's days, weeks, months down the road that they introduce them to this. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but every single hotel along the 401 has human trafficking happening there. Every single one. It's everywhere. And it's so important that I love what you guys are doing, just creating a space like this to allow people to come and share and to educate, because we need to open our eyes. We really do. Like you said, it's not shared through the media. I mean, it is, but you don't see it on the news. Not really, because there are
Nope.
people who are in control of what we know, and right now everything's about Corona. Isn't it ironic that some of the top elite people in the world are actually going down for all these human trafficking? I don't even want to say allegations because there's a lot of proof around it, and yet we're focusing on Corona.
Yeah.
We need to open our eyes, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, you know, you need to believe everything I say, but you do need to go and educate yourself and do your own research, because we are being completely misinformed around everything, you know, especially I was just sharing with Kathy earlier. So I'm a non-masker, if that's what you want to call it. Just from the very start, I've known this is all bull, so I choose not to wear a mask. I will respect everybody else's space, and
Yep.
if you've fallen into that fear, that's okay. I understand, because I fell into it temporarily myself. But it's crazy when you go into a place not wearing a mask and people are like challenging you and fighting with you. And
I know.
it's just causing more chaos. And for me,
It
I
is.
do it as a
It's
statement.
like a red
and
flag.
I want to let people know.
Think so?
As I said to this gentleman here, have you done your own research around Corona, right?
Yes.
Because right now, all we know is what the media is telling us. And all I'm encouraging is go and do your own research. Go research the actual statistics around Corona. I'm not going to share with you what I found. Go do it and you'll be blown away. The numbers that we're getting and the stories that we're getting, they're just not adding up. And there's a lot of stuff. I'm going to finish with this point because I think it's very important. Have you noticed that every single time somebody speaks out against the government or shares a story or a video that's going against mainstream media, these videos are being deleted within hours sometimes because they're being tracked through algorithms. Now, how can algorithms,
Wow.
why is it that algorithms can track these videos and have them removed, but yet there's still child pornography all over the internet, and kids and people are still being trafficked through the internet?
come on.
Come on, guys. It's just common sense. Open your eyes.
It's true. That's
That's
true.
great.
That's
Thanks,
good.
Sarah.
Thank you.
Let's hear it
Woo-hoo.
for Sasha.
Sasha, baby. Thank you so much.
Awesome. And you know what?
Sasha, use BitChute.
Give her another round of applause, because she just spurred the
Yeah, it's an
moment. She
alternative
agreed.
to
We only
YouTube.
met her like an hour ago. Okay, she wasn't scheduled to speak. It takes a lot of courage just to do that, and impromptu do that. And so now, there was something I was going to say. I guess it's not that important.